And so the adventure for the company has come to its end. Even though they have been left battered and bruised for their troubles, they now find safety in the cottage of Aya. Now all that is left is to make the journey home, back to all those who await them.
When last we had left off, you all had made your way to the far north to pursue the source of the shadow, the nightmares that had been plaguing all of the peoples of Eriador, and had even driven some to commit rash actions. And you wandered through the wastes of Forodwaith and eventually found your way to the Hill of Fear and faced the evil within. And though a harrowing battle as it was, you prevailed. And what's more, escaped before the entire hill collapsed on top of all of you. And you all made it out, alive, but not so much unscathed.
And we caught Snava.
That too. You killed the orc, and you killed the dragon.
I was watching you in the corner there, JJ, like, I know what he's doing.
Get into character.
And so you all had found your way back to Sinisgair into Aya's cottage, where Miragar underwent a certain procedure. And you all stand there in the firelight as it kind of just like flickers off in the corner of the room. Aya stands there kind of bewildered at what had happened, at seeing this kind of gruesome act of mercy as Miragar is passed out, strangely peacefully sleeping. Is there anything that you all would like to do?
He's probably gonna just kind of watch over Miragar for a bit and make sure he's okay after the procedure.
Larry, get some rest. I'll keep an eye.
If you insist, Aranel.
Of course.
Just make sure no other orcs come up to the door, would you? And hopefully by this point, Aya's changed her policy about that.
Hopefully.
She kind of gives you a bit of a side eye and then just looks away and kind of nods.
You'll have to forgive my dry, mannish humor.
It's just something I suppose I'll have to get used to.
Yes.
Indeed.
Well, Thrush is a bit more serious. I'm sure you'll get along swimmingly with him.
He's just over there still washing his hands off after the first washing, but then we probably ate some food and he just looks over, shakes his head, goes back to drying his hands off.
Well, you all don't start another adventure without us. And Larry will attempt to retire for the evening, which probably won't be difficult because he's just physically exhausted.
As you retire, Aya kind of retires herself. Much like you, Aranel, she doesn't seem to sleep much. Do you, given your state of exhaustion, do you still stay up, or do you actually try to get some sleep?
I think she would try to stay up as long as possible, but I imagine she might crash out at some point. But definitely gonna stay up for at least a couple hours, making sure Miragar is good to go.
And so as you all lay down to rest, your head hits the pillow and you are almost immediately out. Aya, however, approaches you while the rest are sleeping, Aranel, and she sits down next to you and says, "Where did you say that you were from?"
Mythland.
Would you tell me of Mythland?
Of course. She'll just start going into great detail about the city and her family and sharing stories about like the woods surrounding.
And at the end of everything, you can tell that she has kind of taken everything in and taken everything to heart, and she seems deep in consideration. And she says, well, that sounds like a sanctuary that perhaps I should be a part of.
It is. You should.
I still feel as though perhaps I still belong somewhere else, and my time up there will come. I may yet sail west, I may remain. I'm not certain. I'm not so certain in my destiny or fate or whatever you would call it as many of the other elves, although I'm much more confident in it of late.
Well, you're always welcome.
She gives you a nod and stands up and retires back to her corner where she kind of lays her head up against a wall on a rolled up blanket. Still kind of setting up, but you can tell that she's resting. And shortly thereafter, seemingly in the blink of an eye, morning comes. Even though the sun is still up, you all awaken, rested, battered, beaten, and bruised, but reinvigorated, as though there's not this oppressive weight that's bearing down on your shoulders. And at that, Aya kind of gets up and she straps on her pack, all of her traveling gear, unstrings her bow and kind of puts it in a bit of a holder on her back, and gathers a quiver of rudimentary but finely crafted arrows. And looks at all of you and says, "Where to?"
Well, south, obviously, but
Well,
we might stop by.
yes. We should probably check on the Lost South just to make sure all is well with them.
I'm sure they're still there, Larry.
Oh, I just want to make sure they didn't get impatient and do anything drastic while we were away.
And, I mean, we're closer now than we will be, and you see him... As you leave this place, Miragar is bundled up, probably more than he was before. Not just because of his wound, because he's been cold this whole frickin' time. Yes. I'm not coming back up this way, so...
Yes, I suspect it'll be a long time, if ever any of us return here, so might as well at least thank them for the supplies, if nothing else.
Of course.
You all gather up all of your belongings, your traveling gear, load them up onto your horses, and set out for the Ice Bay of Forokel. And the weather is very cooperative. It seems, though still cold, slightly warmer, and you're not plagued by blizzards, high winds, sunless skies, or even the vengeful dead. The way is clear, and it seems as though the trek isn't quite so long as you had remembered it, and eventually you crest atop a hill, seeing the familiar white-furred outposts kind of on the crest of this hill that overlooks the Ice Bay of Forokel, and there you can see below the very same roaring bonfires in the center of this nomadic village with the reindeer skin tents just kind of dotting the ice down below. You all make your way down, and you are greeted with a bit of fanfare. Not in the form of trumpets and drums and such, but you do hear songs being sung at your arrival. And you see Jagat come up to you all and embraces you all and gives a nod to Aya and says that it seems as though you all have been successful in your task.
Yes, it was arduous, and he'll kind of look towards Miragar, not without cost, but we were successful.
And he claps Miragar on his good shoulder and says, "And yet still you live. There is much to be thankful for and much to celebrate. My people felt it as soon as the hill fell."
It is good to hear. I'm glad to see that your people will not feel the need to go back to the old ways.
And you see a couple of small Lostoth children come up to you and just hold things out to you. You can tell that they want to give them to you as gifts.
I would turn to JJknight and be like, is it alright?
And he motions forward.
Okay.
And you take them, and
They're like little trinkets.
it is but little trinkets. Yeah, little little deer made out of animal bone wrapped in leather. Little dream catcher type contraptions made out of sticks and twine. But gifts nonetheless. And you see as the children kind of give them to you, they giggle and run back to their mother and hug her around the leg, kind of burying their face in her leg. And their mother's kind of nod over to you as a gesture of gratitude.
Larry will turn, smile, and nod. It's all well with your uncle, then.
Egel is in good spirits.
That is good to hear. And,
That's a raised eyebrow from Rush.
Spirits in the proverbial sense. No longer does the thought of returning to the old ways plague his mind. He sees clearly, and in his old age he remembers his wisdom.
that is good to hear.
It's good.
And, what of our guest we left with you, the bear cub?
Oh, yes. He lets out a whistle, and the bear comes plodding over. Just this little bear, probably, like 40, 50, 60 pounds maybe max.
Yeah.
And,
Still big,
You
but...
see a couple of dogs chase him along over. And as the bear reaches Jagat's side, a couple of the dogs tackle it to the ground and roll around with it.
Thrush is going to just reach into his pocket. He's going to hand a silver coin over to Miragar and say, "Fine, you were right. He remembered."
Miragar flicks it, with his good hand, grabs it, just winks.
Larry's gonna
Tucks it into
raise an
his-
eyebrow. I'm like, what was that about?
Just wasn't sure you were going to remember. I was kind of hoping you weren't going to be bringing a dog back to Bree.
I mean, I feel like it's my responsibility. I'm part of the reason its mother's dead.
I'll have you know that we have not named it. And so we see it as more of a caretaking role.
Yes, I was planning to take the cub with us and see what I can do with it in my home. It will be a challenge, but I'll figure it out.
Well, it seems to think it is one of them now. As long as you surround it with its new kin, perhaps it'll get along just fine.
He's going to look down at Miragar. He's like, "The bear is going to be wearing a vest soon, isn't he?"
That bear's probably going to be their best salesman.
That.
I mean,
Point.
once it's fully grown, Miragar, if you want, you can ride it. I'm sure it'd be a fine mount.
Miragar kind of looks down at his arm and is like, "I think the riding of horses is now past. I think I'm going to retire from that line of work. But I am
exactly.
curious if, your family raises great horses themselves for traveling. Do you think the bear could pull a cart? I mean, I
I'm not
imagine
sure.
it would only need one bear, right?
I don't think it'd be a matter of strength. That'd be a
One
matter of
bear
how
cart.
fast the bear is, which I honestly don't know how fast bears are. I guess we'll find out.
Oh,
A natural deterrent.
bears are fast.
That is true.
I've spent more than one knight hiding behind something, having run from one.
Good to know. Good to know. Well, young bear, I think you need a name.
Miragar? I'm kidding! He just looks down at Miragar. And he kind of chuckles, but then he stops and he's like, because he still has a broken rib, and he's like laughing around like, that was a mistake.
I don't know. I don't know, Frost. The bear still has both of its arms. That would be in poor taste.
I know it has to be done.
You must match your namesake now.
And Jagat,
With that, he's gonna light the pipe while he's just chuckling like, oh my goodness.
and at this, you see a couple of the kids that are running around, kind of dance around the fire, and they begin singing songs to each other. And Jagat looks over at you and says, "It seems as though the children have already written songs about the bear who thought he was a dog."
Well,
Check out what is, I guess, bear in your native tongue? Austin have this already ready?
Pause the
I do, but
recording.
it's in my notebook. It's just faster for me to Google it.
Mouse got to pause the recording and look this up.
The
Cut
word
this
for
out
bear.
for later.
What's
The
that?
word for bear in my tongue is karhu.
Karhu. I mean, sure, it's just bear, but there's very few people we're ever going to run into that are going to understand that.
Well, the bear does think it's a dog, though. I don't know if that's the right name for
What's dog in your language?
it. Now you're just trolling Moss.
I love it.
Karhu. Because all the dogs think
Karho.
bears
It's
think they're
Karhu,
dogs.
Karho.
Yeah.
The word for bear. He says, the word for bear in my tongue is koira.
Dog.
You mean the word for
Should
dog?
we do that?
Karhu koira. It is bear dog. And forever in the tales of my people will Karhu koira be sung of in the Hobbit, the one-armed Hobbit who wrote him. It's
I
canon
still
now.
like Karhu.
Jagat says, please, please, it is cold. Please, come, eat with us, dine with us, sing with us. You deserve much celebration.
Well, it's a long road home. I guess we could do with another night of rest.
Yes, especially for those two. Pointing out the ones that got a little bit worse
How
for
do you
wear.
feel about us staying here for, say, 16 days?
The one who's, got the side of his face got slapped by a tail that looked like he was, backhanded by a giant, and every time he takes a puff on the pipe is like, and the
Half
other
your
one who's
body's
like,
bruised.
The other
one who instinctually moves his shoulder to move that arm from time to time.
Yeah.
And so the celebrations begin. You see Jagat kind of sticks by your side and translates for the people of Surikaila, who come up to you and ask you all kinds of different questions, wondering about what dwelt in the hill, what was it that was causing all of these horrible dreams.
I feel like this is going to be us, like C-3PO and Return of the Jedi in the Ewok village, doing the stories for the Ewoks.
Yeah. You see much akin to the little Hobbit children in the Fellowship of the Ring that Bilbo is telling the story to. You see all these children are kind of just staring up at you, and you can tell that they can't understand a word you're saying, so their eyes pass from you to Jagat, to you to Jagat, as you tell your stories. And so you all take your rest here. You dine on very fine reindeer and seal, mostly meat and roots, things of that nature.
Miragar is writing down this recipe for seal, though he'll probably never get to use it.
Is there anything else that you would like to do or people that you would like to talk to?
I mean, is Egel at these festivities?
Yes. So you see him kind of limp out of his tent in his old age. He walks with a cane, and his hunched back. He kind of looks up at you, and he says, "The heroes of the hill. It is good to see you all."
It's just good to see you as well. I'm glad that we were successful. Not just for ourselves, but for the sake of your people and all the others down south.
Indeed. For the deeds that you've done a thing which even the faster Tarkalon would shiver in its boots. If it were to have boots. And he pokes you with his cane in a jest.
That's the creature that they want to hunt, right? That's like the big legendary creature or whatever.
Yep, the very big fabled sea monster that is said to dwell in the northern reaches of the Sundering Seas.
Hey, Miragar, how do you feel about losing your other arm to a sea monster?
I think I'll stick to the land.
He says, "Just know that you have earned welcome here with my people at any time, and if there is any favor that we might carry out for you, consider it done."
I think all that we would ask is just some supplies for our journey home. But I will keep that in mind. Thank you.
You will have that and more. And at that, he ensures that you have plenty of rations, plenty of food and supplies, but also some precious objects.
Okay.
I was going
to ask the party, I'm like, well, do any of you want any trinkets of the culture of this place, since, it's cool and some of you like that stuff?
The only thing that I want to kind of explore and find out if Thrush knows, because, well, it's part of the lore of the Dunedain, is the fact that the last king of Arthedain left the Ring of Barahir here. Is this widely known? It's probably not widely known amongst people of the land, but would it be something the Dunedain would know? Because they were told basically, here, this is your reward, but, basically ransom it back when you have need of it. And that's going to happen at some point. Mm-hmm. Because I think that'd be interesting for that to be an eventual part of what Thrush's part plays, if he is part of the group that comes back to do this. I don't know when it happened or when it happens.
That would be pretty cool, though.
But if he knew, because I know it happens later in the Third Age?
Yeah.
Wait.
I think that it would be, it would definitely be, I think within reason that perhaps it has not been ransomed back yet.
Then, while we're talking, Thrush will try and get Aragil to the side, and then just say, "I know that my forebears ransomed a great item to you that they told you someday we would ransom back. Is it still in your people's possession?"
He kind of gives you, he gets a little bit of a glint in his eye. And he says, "Would you like to see it?"
I would.
And he takes you back to his tent. And you can see that it stands much in the same way that it did before. You've got the fireplace kind of sitting there in the middle with a hole up top for the smoke to flow out, with all kinds of animal skin rugs and blankets strewn about along with pillows. You see he kind of waddles over to one side and he taps on the ice a bit. And he says, "Forgive me, it has been a long time since I have looked for such a thing." And he continues tapping until his cane strikes down and passes through. He says, There we are. And you see it takes him probably 10 seconds to get down on his knees, but eventually he lifts up the rug and pulls up a small leather bag that is soaking wet and attached to a rope, and opens it up and pulls out a silver ring that glows in the firelight. You can see that it has 2 serpents, one wearing a crown and the other devouring. This, forgive me, the name of this treasure has been lost to my people, but it was charged to me when I took over as chieftain of this tribe that I keep it safe for someone who was set to come who would be very important. And here it remains. And he closes his hand back up.
He's going to bow and give him a little bit of a salute and say, "Thank you for keeping it safe. Someone of my people will return."
An oath was sworn many years ago that this charge would be kept safe to your people. And to that oath I hold. And he gives you a nod.
And let him put it away. And then when we head back out to the party, Thrush almost seems a little less completely worn down by the world. Almost actually standing up straight despite the pain in his ribs.
You look to be in even better spirits now, Thrush.
A bit. Not everything has fallen away.
Well, I'm glad to see that whatever Egel had to tell you was good news.
It's just that old things haven't all been forgotten. And hand the pipe over to Miragar, to his good hand. And glance over. What is Aya basically just kind of sitting with Aranel, just watching all these humans do things?
Yeah, you see that she kind of secludes herself. She does kind of saddle up next to Aranel a little bit, and you can see that she, as the children kind of dance around her, she goes and almost gingerly pats one on the head, almost as if she thinks it's covered in germs, and then quickly withdraws her hand. There. Yes, there.
Look down at Miragar. She's not wrong.
They won't break. They won't break if you touch them, Aya.
Yes, but that one just wiped his nose on his hand, so yeah.
Ah, that's fair.
And that one did too. And never mind.
And so did that one. In fact, I'm pretty sure I saw them all do it.
It is cold.
Yes.
Thick sleeves.
All right. And so, is there anything else that anybody would like to do while you are here at Surikala?
I'll find out if they actually have, and this is something Thrush will do kind of a little separately. Find out if he can, talking to any of the people preparing food or whatever, they have any specific ways or means or dishes or things that they make here that would be something that would be interesting for a Hobbit to know. If there's something interesting they make, maybe they make a certain kind of a cheese or a food or a dish or something, and just get the information and just write it down in his book.
Delicious reindeer cheese.
Okay. You see one of the women who is preparing the food takes you over to one of the bonfires, and she gestures towards the pot, and you look inside and you can see what looks to be some sort of a fat, perhaps, that is rendering down. And at that, she takes a couple of roots and bites a couple of pieces off of it, and takes those little pieces and throws them into the pot. And then she hands you the root and points down at it, and then points at the pot.
Okay. And do the same.
And as that kind of cooks, you smell like it's kind of a spicy smell as the fat renders down and the roots kind of release what flavors they have into this solution. And as it boils, you see they throw chunks of reindeer meat, or perhaps seal. It's hard to say because you can't really quite understand exactly what she's saying. But they throw some sort of meat in there, and as they do, it all boils down and renders into kind of just a very nice brothy stew. And she lets you try a bit, and it's quite good. A little spicy.
Probably enjoy it. Okay. Do his best to recreate whatever it is, like seal? What? Other meat?
You see,
rendered fat?
She points out onto the bay, and you look out in that direction, and you can see a couple of seals just kind of skid across the ice and then flop down into an ice hole.
He's thinking. He'll just make a note seal and just say, possibly trout. something less floppy. He'll just make a few notes, and he'll spend some time with them and thank them, and then go back for the evening and just enjoy the festivities.
And you see she continues offering you bowl after bowl after bowl after bowl.
He's more than happy to eat until he gets a bit full, and actually then after that he's going to come back with the one of the last bowls, then just come sit down and hold the bowl out to Miragar with a spoon in it, and then just sit down and hold his stomach.
Thrush then goes into food coma.
Yep, pretty much.
I see. Thrush went off to find the food before Miragar could get it, so to make sure he could get his fill.
That's the only way to be sure.
You come back and Miragar is sitting cross-legged on the ground and has just like a bounty of food that they've been bringing him. He's like, "That's all you've eaten so far?"
I'm just gonna hold up his. Then he wait. Five bowls of it.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That when he says pretty good, just.
For such a little person, I don't know how you make so much room for all this food.
I'm still confounded as to one who is lesser finds space to put all of that.
I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't have space for food. I mean, there's just so many opportunities to enjoy a good meal during the day. And it's even better if you have good company.
Larry probably turned to Aya and just be like, to be honest, he's been one of my best friends in this world for quite a few years, and I still don't understand it. I think as much as we try to understand everything in the world, there are just some things that, well, some mysteries we'll never find the answers to. And where a Hobbit's stomach leads to is one of them.
I'm beginning to think that the Dark Lord of ages past was placed in a Hobbit's stomach.
I'm sure there's enough room.
I suppose there'd be no escape.
A vast prison. I have to tell you guys really quickly a joke from my high school where I first read The Hobbit because our teacher was like, literature of the imagination. And he said, hey, we're going to read The Hobbit. We read The Hobbit. And he gave us a quiz. And the quiz was like, you fill in the blank. Blah, blah, blah was this land. Blah, blah, blah with this land. One of them was hobbits have blank stomachs. One of the kids, because we live in Wisconsin, wrote 4 with a question mark. The answer was fat.
My God.
They're cows.
Like a cow.
I know, I'm like, wow. And our teacher, when he started he got so red-faced, he couldn't stop laughing. He was like, he's just doing this the whole class. He's like, oh my. And the kid in the class was just like, why is it so funny? We're all like, oh my God.
Tell me you didn't read the book by not telling me you didn't read the book.
Oh, the fact that he put a question mark after it too.
That's amazing. I love it.
Sorry.
I might keep.
There we
I'm
go.
gonna keep that in.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be a good short.
These are just like Miragar's riddles.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Miragar telling riddles this entire party. I feel like that's his new thing.
Yeah. All right. So, you all get celebrated until, well, normally what you would surmise to be the morning light, but the light that is currently present and has been present. And you awaken from your slumber. And Aya looks at you all and she says, are you all ready to hit the road again?
Sure.
I think it'd be good to get these boys home
Yes.
and to get.
Larry's probably
Aranel
looking down at the
laundry.
mithril key that we that we found, and he's like, I mean, it would be easier to bring this back now, but he's like, I'll take it back later. It's fine.
It'll give you a chance to go on a trip, probably to, introduce them to your new dog bear, or at least go on a trade. At some trade. What do you call them? Missions? Trade? Caravan?
Caravan is probably more appropriate.
Yeah, you could bring an entire caravan and make it worth its while for your family.
I suppose that is an option. Well, either way, the dwarves will be happy to get their keys back.
And you could take Skilda to go see the dwarves.
I suppose that's true.
You stop by Mythland on your way back?
I don't see why not.
What's their policy on bears?
It'll be fine.
I get the feeling that there'll be a mix of confusion, fear, and fascination.
It'll be fine. I'll talk to Kierdan.
Alright, and...
The bear becomes the lord of the land, gets his own boat.
And so, you all set out. What is the ultimate destination again?
Guess we're heading down. I mean, we could stop by Banyan's place, but get to Bree?
Yeah, I think if we can stop by and check on Banyan and his wife and their child, that'll be nice. Otherwise, the end goal might be Bree or the Shire. Probably
Yeah, I mean,
Bree.
we want to drop... It's probably easier to go to Bree, stop, and then take Miragar home. It's a little...
Yeah,
The road leads more
Yep.
specifically there.
sounds good.
Okay. So you all make your way south through the remainder of the wastes of Fort Okel. You make your way through the lone lands of Rudour, the ever-spanning grasslands, which now, with the turning of the seasons as you travel southward, it grows hotter, as it seems as though we are on the verge of summer. After a spell, you pass by Fornost, Irain, and the Lake of Evendim, and turn your sights due west towards where you remember the house of Banyan, Eden, and Bayron to be. And as you pass by the Lake of Evendim, you can see the sky shimmering off of the waters like a mirror. You can spy in the distance the remains of the towers of the Numenos, and eventually you come to the forests in which the old cottage that Banyan and Auden dwelt. And as you make your way through the forest, very dense and tightly packed. Eventually, you do find the road, which leads up to Banyan and Aden's house, and you can see 3 horses sitting outside of their cottage.
Smoke rising from the chimney, like
Curious.
should be.
Yep. You see smoke rising from the chimney, a bit of candlelight glowing in the window as the sun kind of sets to the west over the Blue Mountains.
Well, I hope we're not imposing. It looks like they might have other guests.
Well, if nothing, we can at least stop by and be on our way and out of their hair.
And Thrush has some good news to tell his fellow Dunedain. About a certain ring.
Only one person's going to find out about that. Her name starts with a G.
That's fair. Can't have too many people knowing about it.
And yeah, step down. I guess I'm assuming we need to help Miragar down off of the pony.
Yes.
And so yeah, get everybody onto the ground and then, knock on the door as if they probably don't know we're already there.
And as you knock on the door, you hear a baby begin to cry. But shortly thereafter,
He'll just turn to the group and say, I did it again.
But shortly thereafter, you see a hobbled man open the door, and you see there is Banyan, leaning on what looks to be a makeshift crutch. And he swings the door wide open and says, "You've come. Please, come on in, come."
Hold the door open for everyone.
Does this injury seem new?
No. So you would remember that, or you would guess that this is the
From the
remainder
battle.
of what had happened to them when you had first encountered him.
Well, I thought he showed up at Rathsreg with us.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he?
Because he was wasn't he one of the ones who didn't he get injured at Rathsreg? Or who was,
Yeah, I figured the injury was
I
from
think he did.
Rathsreg.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
he did get injured at Rathsreg. I'm getting my lines
Okay.
crossed. So yeah, you see,
regardless, he's hurt.
you see that he leans on his crutch and gestures you inside. And as he kind of exits the doorway and goes back to the center of the room to sit down at the table, you see Banyan, you see Aden holding Baron, and you also see Gwyleth sitting inside.
Oh.
And they all stand up and give you the traditional Dunedain salute. And they say, "Well met. It seems as though you've accomplished your task."
I take it everyone's been having good dreams then.
As good as they could be. Yes.
That is excellent to hear. And yes, we did complete our tasks. Not without cost, but we're all alive.
You see that Aden kind of looks over at Miragar, and her motherly instinct kicks in and says, "Oh, do you need anything? Are you all right?"
Yes, I'm fine. Just not. We all came out of the hill with different scars. Mine leaves me a little light-handed.
You see, she gets a little bit of a smirk on her face, and then immediately ushers it away, as she doesn't think it's funny, or she doesn't want to think it's funny.
Could you give me a hand with second breakfast?
It's a taboo joke.
Yeah.
And Banyan looks over at you all and says, "My heart is glad to see you here, but what brings you? Have you news?"
Oh, other than the fact that we succeeded, no, but we were on our way home and we knew you were along our routes and we wanted to see that all was well. I mean,
Oh.
after your aid at Rathsreg, it was the least we could do to see how you're doing.
Well, it seems as though you've come just in time.
Oh.
As Aden and I have, and he looks over at Aren, have decided to leave this post. And
Where are
Gwyleth
you
will take
going?
up our station.
Look over at Gwyleth and just nod.
I see. Do you know where you plan to go yet? If you can tell us, of course.
We plan to make our way to the northern shore of the River Bruinen, at the angle.
I see.
Well, you can travel with us till Bree.
And Banyan says, my heart would be glad at that.
Yes. of
Company is
course.
always good.
Indeed.
Probably just gonna ask Will if I'm like, is there any news of Tharbad?
Tharbad. To tell you the truth, I have, I've not been back to Tharbad since the battle at Rath-Sareg.
I see.
I grew tired of their dens of iniquity and such. I long for a
Yes.
more solitudinous life.
I see.
Solitary. And so, after talking with Banyan, and kind of slaps him on the shoulder and says, with whom I've become fast friends, I've decided to take up their station here at the Wilds. And hopefully watch over the hills of Evendim and Anuminos.
Well, you'll find it is a beautiful location, if nothing else.
I've longed for, well, so long as I knew about them, to sit atop the white towers of Anuminos and gaze out upon the lake, hoping to spy the ship which still sails out there, if your eyes are keen enough.
You let me know if you see it. I haven't, and I've spent many nights on those towers. You'll make me jealous, but I'll be happy for you.
You'll be the first to know. And with that, Aren offers you all some food and rest, as is customary.
Enjoy.
Yes, indeed.
Even uncomfortably sit with the baby on his lap, bouncing it on his knee, just like
Thrush is like,
And Miragar's making faces for it, you know? He goes to do peekaboo, and he's like, oh,
oh no!
I'll have to relearn that one.
You see the baby, Bayron reaches up and grabs the end of Thrush's beard, and as you do that, it laughs and just yanks on his beard.
You've made me a puppet. Wonderful.
No. Don't give this child any ideas, or else it might think it's going to be the next king of these lands with so many people at its beck and call.
And you come to a point where everything kind of settles down. There's quiet conversation going on in what small room this is. And Aya comes to you, Thrush, and she says, I've come to be fascinated with your people. The quiet living, the respect for things that once were. It's quite something.
Just keep kind of staring into her eyes while she's saying that, like,
She says, where do you plan to go? Will you dwell in this angle?
this is my plan, to find a solitary place, a quiet place next to a stream or a lake, where I can work on what I'm working on, keep things hidden from those who shouldn't see them, and strike out from there, an adventure, all the while near, well, the good folk in Rivendell and the bad folk who are farther south. I plan on making more than one foray down that direction, but there are many other places I need to visit as well.
And with that, she looks down and then looks back up at you and says, and not quite so quietly that she doesn't want anybody else to hear it, but she's asking you, but almost asking all of the rangers in the room, would your people accept me?
You just kind of look past and just nod for his part.
And
I
you
would.
see Auden says, oh, of course we would. Of course. You'll always have a place here. Even though I hardly know you, I can tell you're an elf of great character. And one which our friends here trust. And she gives everybody in the room a nod. And just kind of goes back to her own way of solitary brooding. But with a faint smirk on her face.
Nice.
She and Thrush are gonna get along just fine.
We'll see each other every 3-4 years.
She goes to a different school.
Canadian. You wouldn't know her.
When we spend little quiet nights together, it's just the two of them brooding about different things in the same room.
Looking at the ruins.
She's just on her bed with her feet and, laying on her stomach with her feet in the air, looking into the Palantir. No, you hang up. Sorry.
Sauron's just gonna be looking through him like, this is so boring. Why aren't they
He's just
doing
on.
anything?
This is a party line.
What is this, Degrassi?
No, a couple days later, they get a little note thing from it, and it's just Saruman, and he's like, your bill for the month? How did you spend $1,400?
1,400 silver pennies.
That's
in
60
one
cents a
weekend.
minute? What?
It's not unlimited data. Oh my gosh.
What? Thrush, you were roaming. I told you when we first started this whole thing. And so, is there anything else that you all would like to do while you are in the house of Baenion, Auden, and Baron?
Oh, it's not their house anymore. It's the house of Gwilith.
Well, they ain't left yet.
Guess that's fair. They
It's not their house until they leave.
Fair enough. They haven't finished signing.
Their lease
the
expires
deed.
tomorrow. Yeah.
They have to hand over the keys. Fair enough. No, I think
The U-Haul comes tomorrow.
Oh, what's this creature? A bear, you say? Will it help us haul things?
Oh yeah. What do you do with the bear? What did you end up naming the bear? Karhu? Or have you not thought of a name yet?
I mean, I had an idea for a name, but I don't know. We'll see.
See? What do you do with him over the course of the night while you guys are in the house?
I'll probably end up sleeping outside with the bear because the house is already crowded as is.
Alright. And so instead of a baby waking you up in the middle of the night, you have a small bear kicking as it dreams. It lets out little whimpers and then it just kind of kicks you in the stomach.
This is fine. This is better than the baby yelling in my ear, honestly. At least it provides warmth.
And so,
See, now your bruises take longer to heal because of the bear kicking you.
I technically
You'll
didn't
be
get any
bruised, like,
injuries,
twice as
so
long.
there's that.
Yeah, fair.
And so, as you all get your rest for the evening, you wake up the next morning and everybody is getting everything together. Auden and Baenion saddle their horses and put all of their belongings onto their backs. What few belongings they have. And you all set out back towards Bree, and Gwyleth gives you a single solemn wave from inside the door as you leave. And I think that is where we're going to take a quick little break, and we'll be right back.
Sounds good.
And we are back as the company +4 in Aya, Aden, Benion, and Baron make their way back towards Bree. Now, are you all heading straight there?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think we have any
Yeah,
other place
I
we need
think-
to stop.
I think Miragar would make sure that everybody got where they needed to go, and then backtrack a little bit to the Shire.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And so you all pass down the greenway. It is a peaceful passage, warm, windy, rainless, and your travel is easy for once. And eventually you cross around Bree Hill and come into the front gates of Bree on the lower hill. And you can see the gatesman gives you a nod, and as you pass through, you can see people wandering about. Children kind of chasing each other with sticks, pretending to be those so-called adventurers. People carrying things back and forth from market with smiles on their faces, and you can see John Fernie kind of leading a mule back to his place after an unsuccessful attempt to sell. He looks over in your direction, and you can tell that he recognizes you, and he is able to muster a nod in your direction. You can see Archibald and Barnabas hauling some ale back to the Prancing Pony for this evening's business. And there, you can see, with a bucket that is full of water, Skilda, as she kind of looks over her shoulder and sees you and drops the bucket's water splashes all over the ground, completely spoiling the labor which she had just performed. And the smile on her face is brighter than, well, seemingly brighter than the sun is right now. And she rushes forward and says, "I can't believe you're back finally. Thank you for coming back. I knew you'd come back."
There's been like an rush ahead and like, of course, young Skilda, of course we'd return. We promised we would. It was a very harrowing journey, but it seems as though everyone is doing much better, so we stopped the nightmares.
I've been sleeping a lot better, and it seems as though everyone else is too.
That's very good to hear.
Oh, and I found someone to make me some new boots too. And you see she lifts up her foot, and she shows you some new boots. Not quite as well made as the ones that you had Borlas make her, but
Yeah,
boots nonetheless.
that's wonderful to see.
Yeah. In fact, the guy said that he knew you. Said that you
Oh.
had helped him.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. What was his name? I think it was. Oh, yes, Farweld.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, he took over old Borlas's shop not long after you left. He and his wife moved in.
Oh. Well, I'm glad to see they're doing well. I'll have to pay them a visit.
Yeah. Oh. You have to tell me exactly what had happened, and looks kind of past you, and who they are.
Well, this is Banion, his wife, and their child. They are, you could call them Thrush's family in a sense. They're members of his kin that we've encountered before on our journeys, and well, they're making a move to another part of the land, and they had to pass through Bree, so we decided to accompany them. And that is Aya. She's another elven woman that we found. She's quite long-lived and has seen many things, and she did help us with our journey.
Well, it sure is a pleasure to meet all of you. Are you going to be staying with us, at least for tonight?
Well, we can at least have company for the evening. I'm sure anyone in this family wouldn't mind having their hospitality returned to them.
To which Banyan kind of replies. He looks down and says, "Yes, my leg is quite bothersome at the moment. I could do for a rest." And so could he. Looks over at Bayron.
Close.
And so, you all have arrived at Bree proper. And you can see that everyone here is in much, much better spirits. Although, it seems as though none of them quite know exactly what it was that happened. It seems as though your return is a glad one, but one which goes largely unnoticed.
That's quite fine with this band of adventurers. We did this because it was the right thing, not for the recognition.
And now that you are here, is there anything that you all would like to do in Bree?
I mean, probably I'll invite everyone to my home to at least rest before our guests have to make their way. Otherwise, probably not much. Maybe figure out who I got to talk to in the government about registering a bear.
And you see, Skilda spends a lot of time focusing all of her attention on the bear and the baby.
That's
it's almost
fair.
she can't make up her mind as to which one she wants to spend more time with. But eventually, Bayron has to go to sleep, and so Skilda, the choice is pulled away from her as she spends all of the rest of her time wrestling with the bear. And so, you all spend some time at your house. Skilda actually goes and shows you some of the things that she has learned to cook. She says, "You know, I've been spending quite a bit of time with old Barnabas down at the Prancing Pony. He's really nice.
Miragar rolls his eyes a little bit.
He said he wants to learn to shoot my bow."
Well, Skilda, you'll have to come to the Shire and hang out with me, and we'll teach you some real good cooking.
I would
Make pastries
love
and
to.
such.
I would love to, and I would like to see how you do that with you know.
Yeah, Miragar nods, you know, like, I am curious at how I'm going to manage that myself. But I think if I have some helping hands, and he kind of winks at her, we'll make some of the best pastries they've ever seen around here.
Right. I can't wait. Alright, and you all have your rest in Bree. Your spirits are lifted as you are finally in some semblance of home. And the bells wake you all up in the morning. As the people begin milling about once again, Skilda awakens and attempts to convince you, Miragar, to help her make breakfast, as it seems as though she's gotten quite the affinity with cooking herself.
Yeah, Miragar will instruct her and be there to help, or, you know, whatever it is that she can't quite do.
And you all make a phenomenal breakfast for which everyone, even Aya, is very much impressed. You see, she kind of talks between bites and says, I didn't know that that non-elvish food would taste this good.
Well, it's really in seasonings, and having spent now time in both Mythland and Rivendell, and as things were cooked to perfection. Elves don't like seasoning.
So they're the British.
Fair.
I suppose I never thought of that. And then she shovels another bite of pancake in her mouth.
Well, and with that, Miragar kind of looks at everybody and goes, I think tomorrow I will head home.
Of course.
Skilda says, "Aww."
Yes, well, we've been gone for a while, and I'm sure I have to sweep and dust and clean my place, but I invite everybody here to Yule at my humble abode in the hills.
Don't you're a young Skilda. We can accompany Miragar to his home, if nothing else.
Wait, but are we going to you?
Oh, of course we will, but I just need to make sure my friend gets home safely.
Yes.
We've come this far. I would hate for something to happen to him between here and there. I doubt it would, but
Wait,
kind of
by
friend-
a took or something. Who knows?
Adelar comes out of nowhere.
Aha! You
Blows
are
a
weak
smoke
now.
ring in my face.
And then fades back into the bushes.
It's like, I see.
I can't get it out of my eyes with just one hand.
You fiends!
Adelar, the kind of guy who'd be like, oh wait, no, he only has one arm. If I do that to him, I'll get canceled. No.
All right.
I
And
shall join you. I'll go back to Mythland. For a little while, at least.
Yes.
And Skilda looks over at you, Thrush. What about you? Are you leaving too?
I'll be back for Yule, but yes, I'm heading to the Angle.
Oh, I don't know where that is. But okay.
It's near Rivendell.
I don't know where that is either.
And he's just going to lean down and say, it's a secret hidden place where elves live.
Ah.
He needs to make sure that his family here makes their move safely.
Yes. Yeah, of course. You want to make sure that little Bayron is safe. But are we keeping... Gestures over to the bear.
Yeah, yes, the bear is ours.
Yes. I think he needs friends.
Well, he actually really likes dogs. He thinks he is a dog.
And her eyes just glow at the idea of having a bear that thinks it's a dog.
Also, the prospect of more dogs. Puppies? I hear puppies.
All right.
And
And
have to
so,
move out of Bree and just get a farm.
all right. And so, before you all part ways, is there anything else that you would like to do?
I will wish Thrush and his fellow Dunedain well before they leave. If nothing else, I'll prepare Skilda to at least go to the Shire, and we'll see. If maybe we'll accompany Aranel to Mythland and then make our way to the dwarves just to give them their key. And she can have her own little adventure with Larry, now that things are somewhat safe in the world.
Okay. All right. And so, you all part ways. Start with Thrush, Skilda, and Miragar. You all exit Bree and make your way
You mean
across.
Larry?
What? What did I say?
You said Thrush, Skilda, and Miragar.
Dagnabbit! I did it again. It had to happen. It had to happen.
Do that.
It wouldn't be the finale without that happening.
Oh my goodness.
It's come full circle.
They go
That was great.
west?
That's don't.
Or no?
Oh, look at that, bandits!
Oh, sorry, they all died. Sorry.
Boop.
A very,
Oh, no.
a very ignoble
Thrush
death.
was by himself and ran into the orc that is with his whatever that is.
the ash
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Guy with
No,
the
because
wolf.
the boys took care of him. We just don't know that because it was a side tangent.
That's fair. You two, you did have your adventure,
All right, and so
but I believe Aranel was traveling with us as well.
yeah,
to
that's
Shire.
right. That's right.
Yep.
Okay, so Aranel, Larry, Miragar, and Skilda, you all make your way out
And
of
the
Bree.
bear.
And the bear. Anybody else I forgot about?
Just our
Those are-
horses
let's see.
/ ponies.
Okay. Let's see. I gotta count on. Okay, so you all, your entire retinue, your entourage,
Our convoy.
your convoy makes their way out of Bree through the lower hill and over the Brandywine Bridge, past the strawberry patch which you had found Bilbo at, and back to the house of Miragar. Miragar, correct me if I'm wrong, it's kind of on the outskirts of Hobbiton, correct?
Yeah, so I think we said up the. I know it just says with the water on the map. But yeah, just up the river a little bit.
Okay.
Probably kind of like in this area, you know?
Okay, just on the outskirts of those woods there.
Yeah.
Okay. So you all make your way back to Miragar's house, and there it stands undisturbed. And as the door is opened, dust kind of just falls and settles down on the ground.
We can help with that before we leave, Miragar.
That's okay.
Well, between you and me, I think the others just don't want an excuse to not leave yet.
And,
Yes, well, we'll get to it, I guess.
And Skilda immediately rushes in and ducks underneath one of the door frames and finds the closest broom and says, "Master Miragar, where would you like me to start?"
Probably by the door, and he wanders. He goes, the rest of it's not too bad.
Right. Okay. And she dutifully gets to cleaning your house and assisting you with anything that you need.
What skill would brooming be?
Craft.
Just good to know for future reference.
Yeah. Is there anything that you guys would like to do? Any role play bits that you'd like to do at the moment?
I think Miragar will, as Aranel is going to head out from here, it would seem, he just kind of, he's going to look at her and be like, well, my lady, Aranel, it has been, I don't think there are truly words to what the last 2 years of our lives have been. Life before our first adventure was just a dream, I guess, for a young hobbit, and we have lived more than, well, other than maybe a few hobbits, we have lived more than a life of adventure, and having met your family and many of the elven kind, it, other than maybe Elrond's sons, it seems to be the same for elves. They are a graceful people, but time is strange in your homeland. And hopefully you don't forget about us here, and the time doesn't pass too quickly on you, and you grace us with your presence as much as, well, as much as you can. You're always welcome here, and it has been an honor. And he pulls out this handkerchief and embroidered. At some point, he got it embroidered with all of our initials, and he hands it to you. And he goes, and I believe one of the first things I did on this adventure was hand you a handkerchief. And so it seems fitting that it is also a way to end such an adventure.
Of course. And just know this, the Eldar don't forget. I'll be around.
Good. Then he looks at Larry and goes, "I'll probably see you next week."
Yes, Miragar. I'll make sure to at least visit, maybe at least at bare minimum once a month to check on you.
I'm sure things will be fine, and of course, Skilda,
Well,
you and the bear are welcome whenever.
We will be at least traveling part of Aranel's journey because there's a trip I have to make to the dwarves.
Of course.
Yule is soon upon us, so don't be too long.
Yes, of course.
Skilda is just giddy at this point. I can't believe I'm finally going on an adventure.
Well, hopefully this one will be safe, but you did bring your equipment just in case, so we should be fine.
And Miragar runs through to his study and finds a little notebook, one that's pocket-sized, and finds maybe a little ink and pen, and gives it to Skilda and says, "Write about your adventures. I would love to read it when you and Larry return."
I sure will, Master Miragar. I sure will. You're gonna know all about it.
Good.
And she takes it and puts the ink and quill in a kind of like a little side pocket on her pack, and takes the notebook and shoves it very carefully down in the main body, wraps it into a little cloth.
And now Miragar will steal her book and use it to write his own stories. And make
Plagiarism.
all sorts of money.
Yes.
Make sure not to sign any of the pages.
All right.
My favorite part about that exchange is technically what Aranel said could be encouraging or a threat.
That's true.
Very
So
true.
you just never know
All
with the
about
long-lived
tone.
people. Exactly. Enjoy the next 24 hours, or enjoy the next 24 hours. Wait, what?
It's like they say, may you live in interesting times.
Enjoy
Have
for
the
the
day you deserve.
Yeah.
I hope you
Enjoy
get
the
what's
rest
coming
of
to
your
you.
day. It might be your last. What? Nothing?
All right. And so, do the rest of you depart?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll accompany Aranel at least to as far as we can before we gotta trail off and head north towards the dwarves. Trying to
Okay.
think where exactly on the map that would be.
So, you all make your way. You figure probably the shortest way to go about it would be back, making your way through Mickle Delving and
That's kinda
the
what I
White
thought.
Downs. And with that, we're going to shift over to Thrush, Auden, Banyan, Bayron, and Aya. As you all exit Bree, you make your way along the Great East Road, past Amansul, across the last bridge, just south of the Troll's Shaws, and then finally bearing due south towards the Angle. And eventually you do reach the ease of the Angle, and you can hear the roaring of the Loudwater, the River Bruinen, just off to your right, or I guess left, one of those directions. And you can hear whistles coming from the tops of
It's all
the
about your
trees.
frame of reference.
You hear whistles coming from the tops of the trees as you hear signals, very familiar to you, that there is someone coming.
Okay.
And what would you like to do?
Just keep going. Now we're going to be heading across the ford up there. That's the plan. Or you said we had crossed
Oh, do you want
into the Angle.
You want?
I wasn't sure.
You want to cross the fords of the Bruinen?
I wasn't sure which way they want to go, because where they want to go into the Angle, do they want to? Where in the Angle are they trying to get to?
Oh, okay. I
should
see
say.
what you're saying. Yeah. So Baden, Banyan and Auden make clear their intentions to cross over the last bridge and then turn due south
Okay,
towards
alright.
the main body of the Angle.
Okay, then yeah, we'll just keep with them until we get to the place that they're planning on going. Is my plan, and explain to Aya. I don't know how long a span since she may have been through these lands, or if she's seen them before. That this is, a place where our people keep watch from.
She looks at you and she says, "These lands are all but foreign to me. I knew not that such a place was even still inhabited. 700 years I dwelt up north."
For most people, they would assume it's not inhabited, and that is completely fine with us. It makes our ability to come and go that much easier, and to keep watch on, those who don't have everyone else's interests in heart. We can watch the comings and goings up and down the river towards Tharbad from the southern lands, from Moria, Rivendell, and everywhere else in between.
She says, "I think I could get used to a place such as this. The solitude. And still yet having company when you need it.
And it's much warmer.
Very nice. That too." Yes, the temperatures here aren't quite so... I feel light, as though... Well, I'm not encumbered by so many heavy cloaks. And so, you all pass into the eaves of the angle, and eventually come to a small village where you would know that Gilrain actually resides. And you see just probably maybe a dozen small houses scattered about with several trees in between. It's almost as though the village was built up to be masked by the tree cover, but a village it still is. You can see thin wisps of smoke coming up out of a couple of stone chimneys, presumably purposefully very thin white smoke, clean burning wood.
Makes sense. And, here we are. And look over Banyan. Are you planning on building a new place, or do they have a place for you here?
I think we will have to start over. But it seems as though we will have plenty of help. This has been discussed with Gilrain. All of the goings on with the transference of Gwylith up to our post, so we will have help. And we look forward to starting over, he says as he leans on his cane, or crutch.
No, you've earned it.
He gives you a nod and says, "Although I think my days of traveling afield are far behind me, I do look forward to perhaps becoming more learned. As though I understand you are."
That is kind. I know songs.
Well, that is how those of us who are unlearned remember songs.
We will have time to talk, because I think I too, maybe not here in the midst of all this. He just kind of looks at it like, whew, kind of busy here. It's like I have a small veil picked out, overlooking the way towards Moria and the way towards Rivendell, a bit farther north.
He gives you a nod and claps you on the shoulder and he says, "I wish you luck. And please, darken Arden and I's doorstep anytime you wish."
Grab him on the shoulder and say, "And be careful what I hunt."
And is there anything else that you would like to do?
Yes, he is going to find Gilrain and get her aside and talk to her about the ring. And that they still have it.
You see, you catch her while she's in her cottage. And you look around and you can see that it looks as though it's not as though she is rich with treasures, but she has several things which remind her of the days of old. Just sitting around in her house. And she looks up from whatever book she was reading and summons you in. And you all have this conversation, and she says, "This is glad news. For I believe that, well, with the goings on in the south, that ring will be quite necessary."
I have an idea how to find more that we might be able to use to ransom it back when the time comes. I believe there's quite a bit of hidden treasure, and back where Banian's post was in the ruins, I've found things in the past. But there's also a possibility of retracing and sending a number of our people back up north to the Hill of Fear. That area seems possibly also teeming with unpleasant things, but also possibly old treasures. We have options.
This is good news. For the Ring of Barra here, as it seems as though you already know, may be necessary to usher in certain events. Whether it be directly or not.
Yes, we need something. People aren't united.
Indeed. The people down south need to know that there is a uniter amongst them. And while information is scarce, I know that there is one among us who works to make those ties.
Excellent. Well, I'll do what I can to help usher things along.
She gives you a nod and says, "You've been through much. I would not ask of you that which you would not wish to do yourself. But should your adventuring days not be behind you, there is much to be done."
I think I will build a retreat somewhere here in the angle. I'm thinking farther north, overlooking Rivendell. Or the entrance to Rivendell, somewhere in the northern part of the angle. Someplace I can come back to. A bit removed from all of this. I'm not quite ready for this much camaraderie.
Ever the solitary figure.
And I brought another solitary figure, extremely solitary figure, as you know, in Aya. We told her that she'd be welcome amongst us. She spent nearly 7 centuries above the ice bay of Orakel, in those dark lands, alone. So she's interested in re-entering the world, possibly.
To which she says, Aya says, "I've spent much time in the shadow of death, and it had worn down on my spirit. And I thought it time to rejoin the world of the living. And while it may not be with my own people, I think that you and your people, my Lady Gilrain, would, well, you all would fit, for lack of better words." To which Gilrain nods and says, "You will always have a place among us should your intentions prove good. And you've gained the trust of Thrush, therefore you've gained mine." To which Aya kind of gives her a nod and gives her some semblance of the salute that she's seen you give before. And promptly makes her exit. As it seems as though this, for her too, is a little much.
And I'm done with you people. For the moment. So many words. Yeah, and at that point, Thrush is just going to go off and help Banyan and Aaron and the baby and everyone get settled. Find a place for himself and for Aya to settle down for the evening and or however long it's going to be.
Okay, very good. And so, is there anything else that you would like to do before you head out to your vale on the northern edge of the angle?
No, there'll be some things that I'll probably bring up when we do like Yule that I'll just say had been done that are going to be part of his having traveled around in the intervening months.
Okay.
Nothing major though. No dragon slaying.
Okay. And so we'll zoom the camera out and focus back in on the Shire as Aranel, Larry, and Skilda, as well as their horses and the bear, make their way down the road towards Delving, past to where you can see the white towers of Elosterion off in the distance, and the library that hides within. And eventually you make your way to Mithlon. You can hear the sound of seagulls flocking above, squawking, and the sound of waves crashing against the shore. Eventually you do make it back to Mithlon.
Aranel probably just immediately goes either home or if she sees Kierdan first, whichever happens.
Okay. We can say that as you are greeted at the entrance to Mithlon, you are recognized immediately and probably taken to... your father would have been alerted to your arrival. And rather than you being taken to him, he rushes out to you, as does Kirdaniel and your mother. And there is a warm embrace to which Larry, Skilda, and the bear are all witness. And Skilda is just kind of gobsmacked as she looks around and says, "I feel all warm and fuzzy."
As you should. It's a very heartwarming moment.
This place is strange, but I like it.
Well, you did visit once before.
Oh, that's right, you did.
But that was in the winter. It looks different now.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you never get used to, I suppose.
Well, it was also the winter before. The seasons change things.
That's true. And your father and your mother bring you into a very close embrace, Aranel, and tell you that I'm so happy you're back.
As am I.
I can still feel the shadow's taint on you, and he kind of grabs your armor and shakes it a little bit. And he kind of runs his fingers down the scrapes and scratches along it and says, "It seems as though it served you well."
That it did.
Of that I am glad. Kirdaniel has been asking about you.
Does he think he can finally beat me?
To which he kind of pops out from behind another building and says, "I know I can beat you, sister.
Doubtful.
Just because you went on some sort of adventures and things doesn't mean a thing. I've been training with father."
You shall lose. Again.
And he does. Forevermore.
Yes.
Is there anything that you would like to do here in Mithlon before we move on, Aranel?
She's just gonna be spending as much time at home as she can and kind of just taking a load off. Since there's no other big looming threat in the distance. And then, of course, she'll see Larry and Skilda off.
Okay. And so you all set off once again after an untold period of time. You don't know just how long you were at Mithlon, but eventually you do set forth toward the Hall of the Dwarves. And you make your way northward along the edges of the mountains into the Halls of the Dwarves. And you see the very same gate, which has the river running directly into it, the bridge which spans over it, allowing entrance. And as you enter in, you can hear the sounds of bells echoing through the halls. The braziers that hang from the ceilings of these great halls blaze with light, making the hall seem bright and celebratory. You hear the sounds of hammers and pickaxes and so on and so forth. It's a much livelier place than when last you were here. And eventually, you are greeted by Jari and Floki. Jari comes to you and says, "Aye, it's right good to see you."
It is good. It is good to see the both of you as well.
Skilda gives him a little curtsy and says, "It's nice to meet you, Master Dwarf." "Aye, it's nice to see you again." "Oh, that's right. We did meet before. I'm sorry. I'm not getting used to the light in here." "Aye, it's all right. It's been a little while." "So, to what do I owe the pleasure? I see you've accomplished your task."
Yes, we have. And I've just been accompanying the others in our retinue as they return to their homes to take a well-deserved break. But we do have business here. There's something of your people's that we found that needs to be returned to them.
"Aye. All right, let's see it."
All right, he's going to pull out the key and the copy of the key.
You see he gets a wide look in his eyes. "That's the way into Moria."
Yes. If it's... I don't know if your elders would be able to see to this personally. If not, then I'm sure someone can handle it.
Aye, this would offer me a lot of goodwill with Vilya. You have no idea what you've done for us by bringing these back.
Well, your people helped us quite a bit in our task in Rathrag. It was the least we could do.
Aye. Well, we'll be glad to have you here at any time, of course. And I think Lady Vilya would agree. And Floki kind of nods along. And Floki actually says, "I don't think that I was ever able to properly thank you for what you did. I know I was consumed by anger at that time, but you helped us out quite a bit and helped us avenge me brother."
There's been enough suffering in the world as of late. It was good to do something that made a difference.
As you can see, the halls are much brighter.
Everywhere else we've touched has been much brighter as well. It's good to see.
Yes, of course, and I have a feeling that's much to your doing.
Yes, well, perhaps as we walk to meet with the lady, we can talk about what happened. It was quite the tale.
Gives you a nod and says, "I'd love to hear about all of it."
And Larry will recount the tale of the mountain, or the Hill of Fear. Also make sure to personally thank these dwarves for their very good equipment that saved my life.
Say,
the lives
it's
of
all
my
in a
friends.
day's work. And the walk through the halls of the dwarves is quite long, but eventually you do reach the chambers of Lady Vilya of the halls of the dwarves. What would you like to do?
This is by appointment, do I know?
She sits there at kind of the end of the great stone table. You can see she just kind of sits there. She's muttering something under her breath and kind of staring off into space. As you can see, her milky white eyes are just glazed over in thought. And eventually your footsteps kind of ring around the hall, and she says, "Who's there?"
Lady Villia, and is I, the Larry, the Rushlight, the human that you aided once before. I have come to at least attempt to repay my debt in some way.
Yes, Larry Rushlight, I remember you well. Please come. Approach. Allow me to see you.
Of course.
And you approach, and she reaches out and she touches your face. Her calloused hands are rough along your face, but she touches you and feels your face and says, "It is good to know that you are alive and have accomplished your task."
Yes. It was not without some sacrifice, but at least all of my friends survived the ordeal.
Well, the deed done is thanks enough. I could ask for nothing more of anyone.
Well, perhaps you would be happy to have this, and you'd probably try to put the keys in her hand, knowing she'll probably know exactly what they are just from the feel.
Yeah, she feels it. She holds it in one hand and kind of feels around for the other. And says, You've done even more of a service to my people than you know.
Yes, well, it was in the hands of a nasty orc, and, it didn't sit right remaining with him.
Yeah. It will be stored here in the vaults, never to be used again, unless the time comes to retake Moria.
Well, admittedly, I don't know the most about your people's history, but I know it's very important to you, so I hope that day does come sooner rather than later.
And under Owley's guidance, the time will come when it comes. But I'm sure it will come.
Yes. Well, I just want to humbly thank you and your people yet again for your assistance with your army.
Think nothing of it. She kind of gestures like, think nothing of it. They were volunteers and they went of their own accord. And
Very
again, everything that you've done is thanks enough for any efforts put in by my people and myself.
Yes. Well, I can only hope that this goodwill between our peoples lasts for countless years, as I do believe the only way any of us can stand against the dark is to, well, stand together.
And that is true. And our alliance, and kind of she puts her hand to her heart and then puts her hand to your chest, will remain true for as long as either of us shall live, until our peoples forget that we were around and our oaths were exchanged.
I look forward to it. Thank you, Lady Villia.
She gives you a nod and says, "Go with Owley."
And you as well.
All right. And so, I think this is as good a time as any to go ahead and fast forward to Yule. The snow is on the ground. It cracks underneath your feet as you walk, and eventually you can see atop the hill the Yavanamade tree and the smell of fresh pork coming out from under the hill. And you all make your way towards Miragar's house.
You probably hear Miragar shouting, not like a aggressive way, but since his assistant is probably helping him cook, he's, correcting her and shouting orders and whatnot. And the door is very obviously unlocked, and probably because there's, I don't know, a 100-pound bear with her has already been knocked open, and I'm sure whoever arrives first hears, "Skilda, I told you, at least teach him how to close the door if he's gonna open it."
He doesn't understand what I'm saying, Master Miragar.
Larry will probably walk in and be like, Don't worry. I'll deal with the problem. I admit, Huan here is, well, he's quite large for a dog, as it were, but I think the name fits.
He's a lovely chap, but some more training would be in order, I think. Larry, would you mind maybe sweeping the front area? His paw prints tracking more dirt than you would imagine.
Oh, yes, of course, Miragar. I'll deal with it.
And also, since you are here, would you like a cup of ale or a glass of wine?
Ale to start.
Perfect. He'll run over and make sure you have a cup of ale ready when you enter the home proper. It's good to see you, my friend. Not that we didn't just see each other a week or so ago, but I guess on the holidays it's a different feeling, right?
It is.
Have you heard from Thrush or Aranel? I know they'll both be here, but I will start eating without them.
Of course. Well, Thrush is as cryptic as ever. I'm sure if something happened, he would have sent a letter, but he's probably fine. Just
yes, and that letter
brooding about all we've lost or something.
Yes, and that letter would have said, "Will be late," and that's it.
But Aranel, she's passed through a couple times, but she's been spending a lot of time at home, which is understandable.
True. Well, come in, get warm. Do you know if any of our other friends are going to make it?
I honestly don't know. I did let our dwarf friends know that they were welcome if they were willing to make the journey.
Well, I guess we will just wait and see. We have some time. If she doesn't burn the buns this time, dinner will probably be sooner than later.
My, Miragar, you're quite the taskmaster.
But it's time management, or mise en place, if you will. Clean while you go, and I have the hourglasses for a reason, but she, bless her heart, she does 500 things at once, and it's really not a good skill to have in the kitchen, but she's doing fine.
I think the oven's too hot, Mr. Miragar.
Maybe. How many logs did you put on there?
4.
Oh, yeah, that's too much, and he runs off.
All right, and eventually,
I imagine somewhere in the chaos, Aranel kind of like shows up with her horse.
I feel like it's right as maybe Miragar turns around. Yeah, Aranel walks in.
She's putting that stealth skill to good use.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds
Always chaos, I suppose.
Aranel, it's quite lovely to see you. Yes, Miragar tasked me with cleaning the front door. But please go through before I start.
Fair enough.
He'll be ecstatic to see you.
And you guys hear, Skilda, I will take over the bread. Why don't you go and set the dining room for 8?
8. Got it. And she runs off and fetches the plates and silverware.
Is Aya coming to the celebration? It's curious. I was curious if she's interested.
Would you have invited her?
Yeah, because Miragar kind of left the invitation open to all, and I think that it would be, probably good for her to be invited, whether or not she comes.
Okay. You'd guess that even though the invitation was open from Miragar, she kind of looks for your okay, Thrush.
I think it would be a good idea. And it would be good for you to see the way that a lot of the other people, embrace the custom of the end of the year.
I would be glad to. I've only seen one Hobbit, and I'm curious to see how they live.
I will let you know that since things have probably settled down a bit since we came back through here last time, and this place, even less than Bree, is used to seeing people of our stature, we're going to likely arrive under cover of darkness. It's just safer. For all of them and for everyone else.
Just how I like it.
And so when Aranel shows up, They are probably on a nearby, like, cord road, just in the shadow of the trees on their horses, just kind of waiting. Just making sure there's nobody watching anyone, nobody's followed anyone, nothing untoward is happening. And then
They just want to arrive fashionably late.
basically, and once Larry gets back inside, then going to, head up there, tie up the horses, and then gently just knock on the door.
Well, Larry's probably there to open it because he's sweeping. It's like, Thrush, it's so wonderful to see you both. You'll have to excuse me. Miragar's busy with preparations. He tasked me with sweeping the door. To be honest, I think he just wants me out of the way.
And Aranel, can you do me a favor? If you go into the wine cellar, there's 3 bottles. They're going to be kind of a green color. Can you bring those as a special occasion I found?
Of course.
Aranel's already here.
You'll find that hobbits love food.
That is, I think even for Messiah here, who has been away for 7 centuries, I think that's a revelation even she was able to discover.
The extent?
That's a fair point. Please, come in. Miragar will be ecstatic. See you
He's
too
gonna
as well.
set down his packs on the side and close the door, and he's going to uncharacteristically scuff his boots on the mud raking thing that Miragar has outside the door to get mud off his boots. And then once he gets in, he's going to remove his boots.
Like gasp.
Wow.
Aya kind of looks at you curiously and follows suit.
He's not a fan of mud
So this
or
is
dirt.
this is customary for hobbits.
They don't wear shoes, so they tend to track things around, I think. But also, our boots...
It's very strange. The only one that I've met did wear shoes. You're saying none of them do?
No. So that's why I said it's good for you to meet others of a sort, because we were an unusual group.
Miragar only wore the boots because they had some sort of magic to them.
And as you're talking about the boots, and you kind of look down, there's the coat rack, and there's probably a couple different walking sticks and umbrellas and stuff. There is the most pristine boots that should look familiar, but they don't look like they've been touched or worn in quite some time, but they are clean.
Just... And then head on in, and he's just going to whistle at the top of his lungs, make a bird whistle. It'll probably echo through the hall.
Huan comes running.
Not in the kitchen!
And I guess tussle with the bear slightly.
Oh, Thrush, perfect timing. Can you grab the ham out of the oven?
Sure, he's going to push the bear off to the side and head into the kitchen, making sure to remember to duck.
Just so you know, I decided to name him Huan because he thinks he's a dog, but he's quite large.
Ah. Very nice.
Yes, and he's cute, but he doesn't realize how big he is, and I don't suspect him to be able to fit in my house much longer.
That's going to be quite a tough day for him.
But yes, please, dinner is ready. Have you heard from Bayron and them at all? I know you all had settled relatively close to one another.
I'm assuming, I don't know, are they coming? I'm assuming they're going to stay with, not travel with their child, but...
They were undecided when
Okay,
when you last talked to them.
I had to stop off other places. I made a few trips, so we left the angle quite some time before today.
Well, that's okay. I wanted to see how big the baby had gotten, but I might send a letter with you on the way back.
We can do that.
But please, everybody, food is ready. Let's sit down and enjoy a meal.
Set down a large ham.
Yeah, and there's potatoes in multiple forms. There's 3 or 4 different types of bread. You know, there's a ham. There's other proteins and things like that. It is a feast for many. Even though the table is only set for 8, it could probably feed twice that if needed.
The whole of Hobbiton. Probably.
Yeah, different cheeses. You know, all those fun things.
Nice.
And just about the time you all sit down and fork the first fork full of food and get it ready to eat, you hear a knock on the door.
I'll get it. Aranel will get up and go answer the door and see who's in.
You open the door and you see a large brown hood low to the ground be thrown back, and you see, Jari, at your service. I heard there was a party going on here. Is it, I didn't miss anything, did I?
No, perfectly on time. Come on in.
Hi, that's what I like to hear. I'm quite hungry from the road.
I imagine so.
And he traipses in, leaving the mud on the floor, and enters in.
I'll clean it later.
He enters into the dining room and spreads his arms out wide. Hey! It's good to see all of y'all. Happy Yule.
Jari, I'm glad you actually were able to make the journey.
Yes, of course. Of course. Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Good to
And he sees Jari and he lights up and he goes, I found something in the stores of Hobbiton not long ago, and I was hoping I would be able to share it with you, Jari. And he runs out and you hear him kind of clanging glasses and things together, and he comes back with, it's a little bottle, you know, it would be 12 ounces or so, with a bunch of little cups, you know, ones that are these kind of small coops, right? 3 or 4 ounces maybe, and
like
he pours,
shot glasses.
yeah, but a little bit fancier, and he goes,
Gotcha.
this is supposedly some dwarven whiskey from old that I found in a friend of mine's wine cellar. It was quite the haggle to get it, but I thought if I ever had a dwarf in my home again, it would be the perfect thing to share.
I'd be happy to share that with you. That's quite the honor. I've not had a good dwarven whiskey since about a fortnight ago. That's about since I left the halls. But boy, am I thirsty.
How did you ever survive the journey?
Your guess is as good as mine there, Master Larry. And he sits down, and the chair creaks underneath of his weight. But he sits down and begins to enjoy the meal with you all.
Nice.
And eventually, you do hear yet another knock at the door.
Someone else can get that one.
Miragar
time-
would get it at this point if he's done serving food.
Well, I was just say, if he's in the middle of serving, Thrush is just going to pat him on the back and stand up and stop before he hits his head, and then go out and actually answer the door.
And
I feel
there,
like, yeah.
and there in the, in the darkness, you see Banyan, Auden, and just down in front of Auden, you see she's kind of bent over and holding Bayron by the arms as he stands on 2 feet. And she says, well, hello, Thrush. Are we late?
Never. The table is long. And it's walking.
Yes, Bayron has taken quick to walking. It seems as though he wanted to do this before he was able to crawl. Come.
Be careful when you bring him in, because there is a 100-pound bear who will come charging at you.
She picks him up
Gleefully.
immediately. And he fights her, pushes away from her and everything. She's like, no. And like pins his head down to her shoulder. Oh, it sure smells good in here.
It gets better as you go back farther. And just let them in, look around outside cautiously, and then close the door again.
All right.
I swear I saw Adelar took somewhere.
There was a mushroom-shaped cloud.
And As you all enter back into the dining room, you see Aya picks up one of the wine bottles and says, 1296. Which 1296? Is this wine? What? 1500 years old? That's older than me.
If I believe so, the cork was tough to get out without breaking.
It's a mithril cork, is it?
I imagine that this is potent.
Yes,
Most likely.
but it should still have all the flavors needed for a gathering such as this.
I look forward to sharing it with all of you. And Banyan sits down and says, I as well. It's good to see you all.
Glad you could make it.
Auden takes Bayron's hand and just kind of waves it at all of you.
This is how you say hello.
Well, I am glad all of you could make it and are here. For the last couple months as I have set up my home and sort of accustomed to my life, and all of you have gone on and lived yours, I have put together some gifts. And he goes around and gives everybody little boxes. And in each gift is keepsakes from adventures. It's for Thrush. It's actually his book. And when you open it, he'll look at you and be like, I can't quite write like I used to, and I don't think I would entrust anyone else with writing the end of our story.
Thank you. I think when I finish this, it will probably find its way to Rivendell. I can't think of a safer place.
He kind of nods, and Lady Aranel, I know I had given you that handkerchief when we had left, but I had thought even more about it, and the tree that was gifted to me by your kin has grown faster than I expected. And he pulls out a walking stick. He goes, I had carved this, and it's not an intricate carving, but there is some carving going on. It's got a nice handle and everything. And he goes, I carved this and thought this could be used for you.
It's lovely. Thank you.
And yes, you would still see the ring on Miragar's finger. Somebody wrote that there. And then for Larry, he actually runs back in with the boots. And he goes, you and Skilda have gone on a few adventures, and I think these may be better placed on your feet going forward. I don't think I will be adventuring further than Bree, or at least into the wilderness, as often as I once did.
Well, you still need to go visit Staddle from time to time. You have to defend your title, after all.
Yeah, but I don't need those boots.
Oh no, of course.
Help me take down a took. And then he has other trinkets, like a little rattler toy for the baby. Mm-hmm. And then things like that. He gives the dwarven skillet to Jari.
That's a kingly gift. I'll treasure it always.
Know that it is probably one of the only reasons I am alive. And it did help defeat a undead worm. What? Did we ever find out what that creature really was?
It was an undead dragon, I think. I don't know.
It was fear.
It was uncomfortable.
Fear. Fear is a good word for it.
Oh, I know a better word for it. Gone.
Yes, it is.
Just like
Buried
Saba
beneath the hill.
in the dreams. And Thrush is going to say, just a moment, go to the front door and get his pack and come back in. And in one arm, he's got 3 big bottles, and the rest is a bunch of things wrapped in paper. And he's going to set the bottles down and said, I was kind enough to come with me while I raced around different places, sending word, making notes, and bringing things for this party. And he sets down a bottle of wine from Rohan, from Edoras, a bottle of wine that he got in Gondolin, and one from Rivendell. He said, I didn't know who would be here or who you'd like to serve, but these can go in your pantry if we don't down them all tonight. And he's going to take out a book. It's basically about the size of like this. It's a leather journal that has a bunch of work done in it. And he's going to say, this is for you. A few different places that I found things that you might find interesting to try and cook, from the Lostoff, from Gondolin, from Rivendell. Places I found recipes hidden in the sheaves of books of different places. You may have to make substitutions because some of the ingredients are completely unknown to me.
Miragar laughs and starts flipping through it. He goes, yes, I think this will be an adventure in itself.
The fish cakes from Blondair. It took me a bit of wrangling to try and get someone to give me the secrets. The mileage may vary. He's going to hand one to Aranel that is a quiver and a set of arrows that were actually made in Rivendell. And he is going to then pull out it looks like a kind of the same kind of book he's been referencing the whole time, but it's way better shape, and it looks like it has a way to look through it. Like you could put markers in the pages, and it is all the maps of everywhere we've been, much more detailed, laid out for Larry and the Rushlights for their traveling and trading. And it basically, it covers all the places we have been with notes on everything we've done and where all the different farmsteads and peoples and things and notations in the margins, and lots of rooms for more maps for you guys to add. And then the last thing he does is he reaches into his pocket and he actually gets out something and hands it to Aya. So it's traditional to give gifts on Yule. And he gives her, it's a small brooch that he had found in one of the treasure hoards. It has a white gem. He still doesn't know what kind of a gem it is, what kind of strange silver metal this is made from, but it's secured with little spires, almost hiding the gem. But he believes it's from Gondolin. And that was the piece he found, and he said, I think this is better served being in the hands of someone who would understand its origin.
She is speechless for a second. And she says, this is the first that I've seen such a thing of my people, and well, ages, quite literally. And you see like a single tear comes down her face. Thrush, I know not what to say.
Well, just don't hide away forever.
With that, she clasps it tight in her hands and puts it to her chest and gives you a nod and just says simply, thank you.
You're welcome. And he's just going to sit down, having done his best work at being polite in front of people.
Thrush, your manners have improved significantly.
Well, it's easy when I'm not being assaulted every other day by something. I'm sure they'll worsen in the coming days.
I always knew there was a romantic in that bushy, ragged beard of yours.
Aranel will also grab some packs. Nothing fancy, but she would hand out like custom cloaks for everybody.
Oh.
Well, specifically like the main group, and then just hand out trinkets to the other guests because she didn't know who else was coming as well.
Fair.
But while I was in Mythland, I spent some time to make these for you.
Thank you, Aranel.
This is so much nicer than the cloak I'm wearing.
And that's partially why I did it.
Your cloak does have a bit of character, though, Thrush. It's seen quite a bit.
It was on fire more than once.
That is true. Perhaps you can put it up on your mantle or something of that nature.
Perhaps the elven threads will hold up a little better.
One can hope. And Larry also has some gifts for the main party members. It's like, well, my family's business brought us to Archet, and, well, they make more than just bows. So, for you, Thrush, and it's in a small box, it's a flute made from wood from Archet.
Oh, nice. Definitely going to start playing around with it.
Yep. For you, Miragar, it's gonna be like a fancy little spice rack. And for you, Aranel, well, you have a bow. I thought it might be nice to have something to match with it. And you can pull out, well, I think you probably have a nicer axe head, but here's a handle.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome. I know you probably aren't planning to use the axe very often, but when you do, at least it'll be a bit of a better fit in your hand, I think.
Of course. We all know I favor the bow.
Yes. But at least it matches now.
Indeed.
And I brought a little gift, and I don't know if it's quite fitting because I can't just give it to you. But hold on, one moment. And he runs off into the front entryway, and he kind of stumbles a little bit as he's had a little bit more wine than everybody else.
While he's gone, just throw a bunch more ham on his plate.
And he comes back, and you see he's got his hand in his pack, and he tries to shake his pack off of whatever it is that he's got his hand on, and eventually his pack falls to the ground in the middle of the floor, and you see he's holding a harp. And he scoots his chair back and says, "Now, don't make fun, but I've been learning a thing or two." And he begins playing the harp, not very well. And as this is all going on, is there anything else that you would like to do?
I mean, probably Larry will just have a toast to everyone. It's like, well, first of all, thank you, Miragar, for allowing us to stay in your lovely home for the Yule. It's much appreciated.
Of course, it's an honor that everybody arrived. I wasn't sure who to expect, but I'm glad you were all here.
Yes. But more importantly, thank you all for all you've done for, well, honestly, me personally and everyone else in this room. I think our little group of adventurers has proven that together people can achieve quite a lot, and for that I'm thankful. And you are all lifetime friends as far as I'm concerned.
Same.
And Thrush is going to stand up, do a toast, and then he's going to recite the Elendil's oath in Elvish. And when he's done, he's just going to drain the glass and then hold it out for Vor and look at Miragar and say, "Now, how about a riddle contest?"
after the oath, he's like, I don't think I know any riddles right now.
And at that, you hear...
Who's David?
At that, you all hear another tap, tap, tap at the door.
Who? Miragar looks around.
I'll get it,
up.
Miragar.
No, sit. I'm already up, and Miragar runs over to the front door.
And as you open the door, you see a tall figure looking at you from underneath bushy eyebrows with a long gray beard. And you hear him say, "I heard that there was a party." And with that, I think the camera just kind of zooms out as he ducks into the door. And the door closes. And with that, what would you all spend the next couple weeks, couple years, rest of your life even doing?
Same as always. Just spending time with family, and then taking turns visiting each of the boys and stopping by a couple of homes on the way. Certain Appledore family.
Thrush is going to be spending time making sure that they have whatever they need to ransom the ring back for the time that it's needed, preparing everyone for what they believe is coming, and spending time with Aya and the Rangers and, in fact, the Elves of Rivendell, just keeping apprised of what's going on until the next thing happens, and the next thing happens.
I think Miragar, shortly after, rekindles an old flame with an Ellie Took, and over the next, course of his life, has lots of kids, families, grows and continues, and he still hates Adelar for things we may never truly know. But I think he lives a happy life, and I think he's 44 at the end of this adventure, and I don't quite think he makes it to the events that unfold in the future, but I think he lives a very happy life, and just becomes a hobbit.
I love it.
Larry will probably devote the rest of his life to helping his family and going out on any adventures people need. If his friends ever need anything, he will gladly aid them. He'd probably check on Tharbad to see what goes on there. If anyone ever tries to overthrow Gurnow, he'd probably help with that, assuming they're, benevolent people. Otherwise, he'd probably spend a little time helping to train the Bree Wardens a bit with his experience, continuing to help raise Skilda and train her just so she can have whatever life she wants, whether that's as an adventurer or just a more domestic life, whatever she truly desires, but making sure she has the skills no matter what she wants. And just at least once a month going to check up on Miragar and see how he's doing.
Should mention that, one of the things that he will do is he's also checking in. Sometimes it coincides with Aranel's visits. But since by the time the War of the Ring comes around, he will be roughly the same age as Aragorn. He's still in his prime. He would probably, I don't know, Larry would have probably become somewhat of an older man. Hilda would have grown by that point. And then he takes it very personally to make sure that she is not matched off badly by any choice that she made or anyone else made if she chooses a husband, kind of being the big brother that is menacing and on the sidelines. And if Miragar does pass, then of course, he's also watching over them as well, from a bit farther away. But he will be instrumental in being the group, or part of the group, or the leader of the group that brings the ring back from the Lost to Gandalf and then to Rivendell.
Beautiful. And so, over the coming years, you learn of some of the fates of some of the people you met during the course of your journey. Of Baenion and Auden and Beiron and Gwyleth. After the Battle of Rathsareg, Bainion and Gwyleth became fast friends. And though the decision was a hard one, Gwyleth finally convinced Auden to make the trek south on the condition that someone stay behind and watch over the lake. Gwyleth happily took over the post as she had grown weary over the iniquitous people of Tharbad. She migrated to Orothel's grave every Yule and sharpened her dragon's tooth on her gravestone. On clear, moonless nights, Gwyleth would sit atop the white towers of Enumenos and blow smoke rings in solitude as she watched the ghostly ships sail over the lake's horizon. Bainion and Auden took their young son, Beiron, and departed Evendim. They made their way to the Angle, and while the journey there was dangerous, and Bainion's leg remained partially lame, he never recovered from his injury. But despite those injuries, he and Auden were given places of honor by Gilrain as thanks for their service in the very same wilds. Beiron grew to be a skilled hunter and scholar, specifically as it pertains to trolls. He remained in the Angle, only crossing the River Bruinen when word came of trolls and orcs emerging from the Misty Mountains and the Troll Shaws. Of the Ferals, during the time between the Battle of Breghel's bandits and the fall of Amangudathos, Ferel the Elder grew more bitter and aged quickly, drinking himself into an early grave. His wife, Ernalda, stayed at home as Ferel the Younger took over its care. Ferel the Younger remained at the homestead and made it into a flourishing farm. In the years after the events of the battle, Ferel and Farweld spent some time restoring the tomb of Gwyndaith back to its former state before its desecration. Poppy and Ernalda's relationship healed as the elder passed. She and the younger, Poppy, had 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls, who dutifully helped around the farm. Farweld and his wife Tulla eventually migrated back to Bree, where they started a new life for themselves. After Borlas's unfortunate fate, they set up shop in the old shop where they found that they had an affinity for cobbling. They too had children, 2 girls, to be specific. Of Hamfast, you learn that he became fast friends with Farweld and Tulla, despite their circumstances. Until the two actually moved to Bree, Hamfast made several trips, sanctioned by his mother, mind you, to visit the Feral homestead. In the years following, he appealed to the Reeve of Bree and was recruited as one of the town's gatesmen. He prides himself in doing some good about town and keeping his kinfolk safe to the best of his ability. Of the Appledores, you learn that the years leading to the fall of Amangudathos were hard ones. The apple harvests were inexplicably shallow, and their spirits fell. But the apples came back to them after Snava fell, providing harvests more bountiful than they had gathered before. They began to trade with the denizens of Tharbad and built a life better than they had thought possible. Edgar eventually married a woman named Priscilla, who he had met in the Tharbad markets. She was happy to move to the Appledore's bountiful frontier and gave him a daughter as thanks. Edgar and Priscilla's daughter's name was Aranel. Of Adelard Took. During the years between the Smoke Ring Festival of 2960 and the fall of Amangudathos, Adelard took to an unhealthy obsession with blowing smoke rings. He spent day and night practicing conjuring new tricks and developing quite the nasty cough. His efforts felt much vindicated in 2961 when he was able to take home first prize of the Stadel Smoke Ring Festival with his newly crafted trick, which he aptly named Bandobras's Gambit. This trick involves blowing a smoke ring and allowing it to settle near the ground, simulating a hole. The next step is a tricky one, requiring the ring blower to fashion a ball of smoke and push it through the hole, all without breaking the integrity of either of the pieces. But there was still an emptiness in Adelard's heart. The prize had been won from him by Thrush and Miragar, and he intended to win it back. However, he found some semblance of peace during the spring of 2962 when Amangudathos fell, even though he was ignorant of such an event. He left the life of blowing smoke rings behind him. Carla Tunnelly says that he has drunk more bees' honey than anyone she's ever seen, but his cough seems to be getting better. Of Jari and Floki. After the Battle of Rath Sereg, the two stayed at the halls of the dwarves for a spell. After the shadow had passed, the two gathered up a few dwarves from the halls and some surrounding dwarvish settlements to rebuild the Vale of Gold in remembrance of the ones who fell there. The finest stonemasons among them fashioned a statue where Flonar was hung and tortured. So tall and grand was this statue that it is said that the shadow covers the misty mountains far to the east at sunset. Flonar took a wife and had a dwarfling of his own, and there they lived in the light of the sun for the rest of their days. Jari struck back out on the road after a spell, not so much as to take up the banditing that he had done before, but he found that he had the heart of a wanderer. He had made his way to Rohan and visited Diarmach a time or two, so long a journey as that was. He also made regular visits to the company that had freed him from the trolls so long ago, or at least the ones that made their locations known. Of Falmir Fairbairns. The Hobbit of Londare grew to be one of the Queen's most valuable confidants. She entrusted him with watching over Londare and reporting back to her with any news he deems important. During the years between meeting with the company and the fall of the Hill of Fear, Falmir became vigilant against the forces of Shadow. It was rumored that he even slew an orc that was wandering about on the banks of the Grey Flood, though he won't talk about any such instance. Then Falmir began to grow homesick after the Shadow retreated from the land. The Shadow that remained to be one of petty politicking. By his estimation, busybody business. That's all that is. And so, at long last, he returned to the Shire at the behest and well wishes of his queen. And it is there that he was greeted once again as a hobbit thought long dead. There was even a gathering at the party tree in Hobbiton, celebrating his return. Even Bilbo attended, gifting Falmir with a fine set of silver spoons trimmed in gold. They say that the spoons are of dwarven make, but no hobbit can tell. Of Eager and Elwing. Eager lived his remaining years in Londare. His journey to the far north had spoilt the sea for him, and he was content with solid earth under his feet anyways. Elwing, however, made several voyages north to visit the Losoth during the summer months, when they might venture closer to the western shores of Middle-earth. The fall of Amangudothos only strengthened her resolve. Eager bade her not to go and worried after her, much to the detriment of his own health. Still she went, as the sea called to her, much as it had to Eager. She brought back new tales every time she returned. She even told of finding a place called the Palace of the Seabirds, and having had counsel with King Aravel. Of Diarmach and his family. Diarmach continued raising horses in Rohan for many years. As the years drew on, strange happenings came from the north towards the Black Tower of Orthanc. However, so fine were Diarmach's steeds that he was permitted to enter into the service of King Thengel and move his family to Edoras. When King Theoden came to the throne of Rohan, Diarmach helped to breed and break the king's own personal steed. By this time, he was known for his horse husbandry and well respected in the halls of the lords of Rohan, and his children followed after him in his footsteps. Diarmach grew old and weary in the shade of the Golden Hall. In the stables, there labored a horse of fair breeding. Diarmach helped the steed birth a colt, which had a coat that shone silver and white in the sun and almost disappeared at night. He passed in his sleep shortly thereafter, knowing that his work was done. And so, Middle-earth stands a little freer, thanks to a company which ends their journey much in the same way that it began. From the Shire to the Gulf of the Elves at Mithlon, to the angle of the Ranges of the North, and back to Breeland, Every hero has a candle in a window which calls them to a home, where they can finally rest from their toils. Many friends were made along the way and some lives lost. But each can rest easy in the thought that those lost were not in vain, but served a purpose which no one living may yet understand. In the end, all are called home. The halls of the dwarves are no longer quiet with despair, but ring with the sound of bells, pickaxes, and hammers, all to the tune of some dwarven song. The men of Bree now walk with a spring in their step, now daring to toss a coin in the old town well. For none of them know, but they all now have hope in a better tomorrow. The hobbits of the Shire continue as they always have, only now with a Yavanamade tree to shade them, and the smell of bacon coming from beneath the hill. The rangers of the north will still stand vigilant, ever watchful over the old kingdoms of men. Though their numbers dwindle with the passage of time, Amansul, the Angle, and everything to the north and south stands safe under their watchful eyes. Mithlond remains a sanctuary from shadow for all elves and any who are considered elf friends. Even as more ships are built to make their final voyage to the west, there are those who remain on the shores of Middle-earth, those who know that their work is far from over. But you all have earned your rest. You have earned the rest of your lives to live them as you will, to go far afield and seek fortune or knowledge or preserve that which is precious. And while home is a place to which you owe your lives, it always beckons you back. And that is where we will end our campaign. So, I want to thank you guys again for hopping on this roller coaster with me. It's been...
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Love the world, love the system, love the people I'm with. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, thank you for doing this project and doing it on Tales of the Dragon's Tavern.
Man, it's been absolutely nothing but a pleasure. Sincerely. I'm just grateful that you guys were willing to join me, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, you guys are awesome. I appreciate everything. And, yeah, I look forward to playing with you some more.
Absolutely.
Right. Right? How do you say, like, what do you, till the next campaign?
Yeah.
Till the next,
What do we...
I mean,
We'll
I guess...
see you in part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
till the next adventure.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys in Tolkien Club next time.
We lied. We're doing another episode now.
No, this is the last one, I swear. And
last one.
Yes, this is the last one.
yeah.
Well, then the bonus live stream.
No, we'll do deleted scenes and stuff like that. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, for sure.
So again, thank you guys, and with that, we will see you next time again in Middle-earth.